Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 125. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like, follow, or subscribe button on the platform that you're listening to us on. You can also check out my work at theloudest.com on the planet, knac.com, for exclusive interviews not available on the podcast, as well as album reviews, live show reviews, and more. My guests for this episode are an up-and-coming band. They're called The Lost Hearts. They have a new single coming out on April 28th called Night to Remember. Their current single, Hate Yourself, is out now. Lost Hearts is sort of a throwback to the 80s with a more modern production. Lost Hearts isn't afraid to wear their heart on their sleeves when it comes to their songwriting. In addition to the two singles, the band is gearing up to hit the road with some 80s luminaries, including Great White and Riley's LA Guns. They're also going to be opening for Buckcherry, The Lonely Ones, The Midnight Devils, and more across the country. I had the chance to catch up with vocalist MAX FRYE, guitarist Victor Adriel, and guitarist JT Shea to find out more about the Lost Hearts. So here they are. If I knew absolutely nothing about Lost Hearts, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Man, I mean, I would say probably our influences shine through, I think, with, we all grew up on rock and everything, but, we try to definitely bring it into the modern age and make it kind of pop centric. And
I'd say you certainly have a little bit of 80s sheen, but it sounds like it's coming out in 2023.
Yeah, I think that's what it is a 80s like rock, kind of a pop feel, but try to be current at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have, honestly, people ask us all the time, like the other day we're playing somewhere and I remember somebody got us to the hotel and said, "Hey, what do you guys sound like?" And we're like, "I don't know." like a band?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
So how long ago did Lost Hearts form? How did you guys all come together?
We started about, 4 or 5 months ago, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, we started writing songs together, and me and Victor met playing some gigs and stuff and for other artists. And then he knew JT through the same way. So me and Victor started writing songs and then brought JT in, and, we all started writing songs together and just found a drummer on Instagram, and that's Mitch. And then here it is.
Now, from what I understand, you guys were all originally lead guitarists, and somebody had to play the drums and somebody had to play the bass. So how did you decide on that?
I mean, we pretty much flipped the coin. We pretty much try it out, like, hey, sing, hey, play drums, hey, play bass. And then we still like switching stuff around sometimes in the studio and live. Like me and JT, we trade bass and guitar live. Mm-hmm. So like we play a couple songs and then we switch around and move around. I think it's honestly, it was not like planned, of course, but it kind of adds to the show. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting that you switch bass guitars and guitars. That doesn't take up too much time on the stage, or do you guys just?
No, honestly, because we rehearse, of course, but like JT usually starts the show on one side and I start the other side, and then middle of the set we just flip and just trade instruments. We all play like wireless and everything, so it's pretty easy deal. But I think it's cool, adds to it, and it's interesting for us on stage too, because it's like you're playing two shows kind of a deal. You put your mindset on the bass and then you put on the guitar. You're like, all right, like you started over again. It's pretty cool.
You got a new single coming out on April 28th, Night to Remember.
Yes.
Johnny K. If you want to talk a little bit about the meaning behind Night to Remember.
I don't know. It's crazy because it kind of came to me naturally. And when it does that, it's kind of hard to say what it's about exactly, because I feel like it's more kind of subliminal. But I mean, I guess it's about, like you catch feelings or something for somebody, and, maybe they're in a situation or something, or, or in a relationship, but, you still wish you could have them and kind of show them that what you're really about.
Yeah. And obviously the listener can liberties on the interpretation of the song. I think we all have a particular night we like to remember, right?
Absolutely. Exactly. Or that we don't like to remember.
So how'd you guys hook up with Johnny K? He's produced a couple of big acts, Three Doors Down, Plain White Tees.
Yeah. Well, I think we had kind of heard of him through separate sources. I mean, because I heard of him through a friend, and then Victor heard of him through somebody else. And then so when we were talking about producers, we both kind of thought of him. And we called him and came over to the house, and we all sat down and played all the songs we had. And Hate Yourself, our first single, was among those. And he really liked that one, and we really liked that one. So we just ended up working together, and it turned out great. We didn't know exactly what to expect. I mean, he's done Plain White Tees, but he's also done a lot of kind of metal stuff and everything. And we were kind of, like, is he going to turn us into a metal band? We don't know, but it ended up being exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, it was kind of like we're so like not scared, but kind of like, all right, let's see what's going to turn out. Because Johnny and the guys can talk about that. We're in the studio, and he's like, hey, record this. He's just a genius, crazy producer, He said, hey, record this part. And then when you listen to the studio, you're kind of like, makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then he said, hey, man, here's the mix. And then you listen, and he sounds fantastic. Exactly. And they were like, oh, wow. So now we're kind of like, of course, we're working already on the third song with Johnny, and it's like, he's fantastic, man. Just great guy. Like, we're learning a lot and having a good time working with him.
Absolutely.
You have Night to Remember coming out. You currently have Hate Yourself. It's been out since March 24th. You guys are getting pretty good feedback on the song.
Yeah, I think we're really enjoying it. We've had some people kind of share it that we're really appreciative.
Yeah, got some radio play.
Yeah,
too.
Got some radio play. Michael Sweet from Striper posted it and was very supportive, and all the guys that we know. I mean,
yeah, we actually just hit 10,000 streams.
10,000 streams today.
Hate Yourself. So
yeah. And Eddie Trunk shared it and talked about it on the radio, and we were very appreciative of that. And so pretty good feedback, especially for a first single.
Yeah, it was kind of different for us because we've been around this kind of more like 80s circle, and we didn't thought the song would do well with those people because we were like, maybe they're not gonna like us. Maybe it's a little too pop and too polished and all that. But we actually got good responses from everybody, from like the younger people that are more into pop music and not that into rock. And we got good responses from like the 70s and the 80s kind of crowd. Because we went to play LA and Vegas, and we opened for ENUFF, and we opened for ROXY Blue, a little more like hard rock 80s bands. And we're like, well, let's see how that crowd's going to react to the show and the songs, So yeah, it was great. Everybody, because we walked out of the stage and we're like, all right, and everybody came to talk to us and say how good the song was and saving the stuff on the streamings and everything. So it was great. It was pretty good responses from everybody that we talked pretty much.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're working on your third song with Johnny K. Are you guys going to be just doing singles going forward, or is this going to lead to an EP or a full album at some point?
Yeah, I mean, it will lead to an album or an EP, but as of now, in the future, but as of now, we're kind of just doing singles, and that way it keeps kind of everybody kind of interested. It's not like, oh, we post the album and then, I hate to say it, but kind of nobody goes to listen to the full thing. They just listen to a song or two there because most of the time, these bands are spending all this money, putting all this time, record an album, and people just listen to the single anyways, or the first two singles, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, it seems like people's attention spans nowadays are more towards singles, Yeah,
it's really hard to grab somebody. Nobody really listens to an album anymore. Because back in the day, you have to put an album and play like a vinyl and everything. Like, it's there. You're not going to change it. But now with Spotify, and you're like, let's say you played Hate Yourself, and it's an album. And then you scroll to Instagram, but you see another band, and you're like, oh, let me try this band. And then you've already changed it. It's already gone. So we're focusing on the singles, and that definitely will end as an album with a couple extra songs and everything. But for now, we're just releasing single after single after single till we have enough songs to kind of put an album together. Yeah.
Is JT always the quiet guy in the group? He just sits there, looks good?
Always the quiet guy.
He's the quiet genius.
Genius.
The quiet genius. That's what he is.
Do Do you come up with a lot of the riffs? Is that your thing, JT?
Yes.
Yeah, I write a lot. I do a lot of the production on like our demos and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the role I play in the band, I feel like.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
JT have the good ideas, and we play the rock stars. You know? That's what we do.
Exactly, man. No, he's fantastic. I mean, because what we usually do is we'll take a song and then bring it, and we sit down with JT, and then it kind of takes on a new life. You know, it's like it becomes more of a song rather than just like, oh, this is an idea or this is a demo. This becomes like, you know, by the time we finish the demo, it's already pretty much a song. Like, and JT produces, you know, in general. We just, you know, we go to Johnny K as well, and it's kind of the reason we go to Johnny is more for another perspective almost. You know what I mean?
So I would imagine you guys are sitting on kind of a little pile of songs because you're out touring, you're out playing. You only have 2 songs on the radio. I can't imagine that fills up a full set.
No, yeah, we have quite a few. And I mean, yeah, when Hate Yourself was probably like at least like probably 10th song that we wrote. So we have a lot of ideas, a lot of unfinished ideas. We have a lot of songs that are not released. I mean, our original set is, you know, probably 8 songs, and then
2 covers.
2 covers or so. And so, yeah, we have quite a few songs.
You mentioned playing with Enough's Enough in Vegas and Roxy Blue at the Whiskey in Hollywood. Not bad for your first couple of gigs playing the Whiskey. Did you learn anything from these veteran acts? I know that Chips Enough is very hands-on and kind of helping the people that are on the bill with him.
All the bands were pretty cool with us, honestly. Todd from Roxy Blue was fantastic. He came to us and he was like, "Man, I really dig the song." He watch our show, and he was singing the song. Like, it was really cool. So he was very supportive. And same thing with Enough's Enough. I mean, they're on tour. They're busy, but they stopped. They hang out with us. They were nice, and we met a lot of cool people. We actually met a guy called Izzy Presley in Vegas, and he's the one that sent our song to Eddie Trunk. So, I mean, just, you know, hanging out with these bands and learning from them and being nice with everybody. I think that's the main thing. Like, do your job, do good, and be cool with everybody around. Try to be professional. That's the main thing that we learned from all of them.
You guys played your first gig on April Fool's Day in West Virginia. Did everything go as planned, or was there any like Spinal Tap like moments?
There always is.
There always is.
There always is. I mean, I don't know any like right off the bat. I mean, it was interesting. The guy has like he's created his own venue. It's like a private venue in his house, and it's really cool, honestly. It's called The Rim, and the guy's name is Brad. He's a really nice guy, but he's created this sort of house venue, but like well done, you know, well done. It's not like a basement like punk show or something. It's like a legit kind of venue, and you know, so we kind of pulled up. We don't know really what to expect. We're like, okay, there's a house in the middle of nowhere, but then you walk in and you feel like you're in a club, and you know, it's fantastic.
Or a little bit like Daryl Hall's house up in New York. It's sort of like
yeah.
But we did it, man. I mean, first one, always kind of, you know, nervous and getting used to the songs. I mean, we all played with other bands and hundreds of shows with other bands, so you're getting used to it. You know, I think at this point we had a couple shows and we had a bunch of rehearsals, so we're a little more like kind of used to it. But the first one is always that one that you kind of like, you know, stepping on new ground and getting ready to okay, should I move here? Should I play this? And everybody kind of looking at the instruments, you know?
Yeah.
You guys got some key support slots coming up. You got Great White and Riley's LA Guns in May, and you're opening for Buck Cherry in June, The Lonely Ones in July, Midnight Devils, July 25th. Are you guys booking your own shows, or do you have somebody doing the work for you?
No, we're pretty much booking everything ourselves, and you know, through friends and promoters that we know from playing in other bands and stuff like that. Like, we have our little connection kind of deal, and and just try to, same thing, but the way we booked the whiskey, because when we booked that whiskey show and the Vegas and all that, we didn't have any songs out.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, hey, here's our first single that we played with this bands, and if you want to give us a chance, give us a chance. And they did. So booking ourselves and of course trying to get into a circle of getting a booking agency. That would be fantastic. So we can get better shows and everything. But for now, just us messaging people on Facebook and emailing people and try to get gigs.
Doing the thing.
And sort of you're keeping in with the pattern with that sort of 80s sheen that you guys have, sticking with the veteran 80s bands, except for, Lonely Ones, more of the 90s. They used to be Boba Flex, and Midnight Devils are sort of a throwback to the 80s and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're actually trying to play with every kind of band. Like we're trying to get some shows with some more like modern bands and stuff. Like I would love to go on tour with some like the Killers, whatever. Like I think something like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But we've been in this 80s circle, and most of our connections are from this. And I love all the bands. I mean, that's what I grew up listening to. Like we're excited. Next week we have the Great White and LA Guns. Like I think we all grew up listening to those bands. So it's pretty amazing to be there. But yeah, every kind of band, we're trying to like fill all the spots. Because again, I think everybody can appreciate Lost Hearts. The 80s crowd can do it, but if we open for like a more like indie alternative band, I think they can appreciate too. So whatever show we can get, we're playing, man.
Yeah.
Are you guys shopping for a record label, or you think you're just going to handle that yourself for now?
I mean, we got a couple offers and people talking about us. We didn't find anything that really attracted us.
Yeah. Nothing yet. We've had a few offers, but it's a kind of, it's like getting married or something, it's kind of a tough decision, and you want to make sure you're making the right one. And, you're signing away a lot in terms of, your music and everything. And so you definitely got to be careful with that.
Absolutely. Do you guys play in any other bands, or is this it for you guys right now?
Yeah, we do play in some other projects.
Yeah, we do sometimes. Like nothing big anymore. I mean, now we don't have time. Like I wish we had time to go do more stuff. But Lost Hearts is pretty much like getting a lot of shows, a lot of attention. So we're always like either on the studio working on the next song or playing somewhere, and it's taking up a lot of time. But we do have another project and play with some fill-in bands. We all live in Nashville, so there's always like filling in for people and local shows. JT plays in another band called Stolen Prayer.
Yeah, cool band.
So we're all over the place, but trying to focus like in this band right now.
Are your other bands different in sound than Lost Hearts?
Yes. Yeah, very different. Like I used to play for other projects. I used to play for Asphalt Valentine. I used to play for Native Sons. Bands that have like a completely like more rock and roll sound, or even Native Sons a little more metal sound than Lost Hearts. I think when we sat down to write those songs and put the band together, it was kind of like, yeah, let's get the best of both worlds. Let's pop and rock and do something cool.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, those are all the questions I have for you today, guys. Thank you for coming on the Rock is George podcast. The new single coming out soon, Night to Remember. Hate Yourself is out now, and you're hitting the road again this summer. I wish you guys the best of luck. The singles sound great. Looking forward to new music.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you, George.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Anything you need, just give us a shout.
Once again, I want to thank Max, Victor, and JT of the Lost Hearts for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest single, Night to Remember, and be sure to check out their other singles streaming on your favorite music streaming platform right now. For all things Lost Hearts, head over to their official website, lostheartsband.com. I also want to thank Olivia Peronich of Whoa, That's Fresh Marketing and Publicity for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. I'll see you again soon.